Hello, everyone. This is Pedro from Play It Yourself. I'm here with Geddy from Greater Than Games, and I'll allow her to introduce herself.
Hello, I'm Geddy from Greater Than Games. I'm the brand manager over here in St. Louis, Missouri. Sunny, bright, going on towards fall, St. Louis, Missouri.
Mhm.
I'm ready to answer some questions about the stuff that we have coming up for Spirit Island and other things.
Perfect, perfect. All right, so let's get on to Spirit Island, one of the best games ever. Uh, it's true. You recently announced and released the Horizons of Spirit Island. Can
Yes,
you tell us a little bit more about that?
yeah. I've written about it a little bit here and there, and we've had some interviews to talk about it in a little more depth if you want to go look into that. But essentially, Horizons is a project that Target approached us asking for a version of Spirit Island, and initially they were like, "Hey, can we do something that's like more basic or like a little pared down?" And the designers over here were like, "We want to preserve Spirit Island, so we can make a version of Spirit Island that has an introductory guide, that has low complexity spirits, that's easier for people to learn, that has like very lightweight transportable components to fit with what you need on the shelf for Target, but we're not going to change the mechanics of the gameplay." So the big thing about Horizons is that it's a good introduction. The big thing about Horizons is that it's a good introduction to Spirit Island. It's not directly compatible with the future expansions like Branch and Claw or Jagged Earth. You'd have to
Mhm.
get a copy of the core Spirit Island, which
Yep.
has all of the full high quality components that we include
Mhm.
in it and the basic spirits that come with it. So if you're just entering Spirit Island with Horizons, then you have to go to Spirit Island in the expansions. But it's the spirits in that game are compatible with the game's all the other content that we have available.
Mhm.
Like they are
Great.
part of the Spirit Island spirits for good.
Mm-hmm. That's great. So in terms of power cards, are they repeated, so duplicates of existing ones, or are they also new that can be integrated?
Yeah, we haven't made this very clear yet, but they are new. So they're not new, sorry. So they are updated versions of the original power deck.
Okay.
And that includes in the original version of Spirit Island, the power deck, some of the powers had corner tags, which were like little colored
Mm-hmm.
dots to signify which unique powers you would need to pull for the playthrough
Yep.
style powers in like your first couple of games. But then obviously as people move past those first couple of games and start to draw powers in like the standard mechanics, they no longer need those corner tags. So the
Yep.
deck in Horizons doesn't include those any longer.
Ah,
There's
okay.
a couple, from my understanding, I haven't looked into every single card, but from my understanding, there's a couple of clarity updates and
Mm-hmm.
like wording changes to make the powers more clear.
Okay.
It doesn't change the gameplay of them at all, but they
Mm-hmm.
are essentially like you could replace your core deck of Spirit Island with these cards, and it'll be like a very slim quality of life update.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's great. That's cool. And the game, is it available already?
In the United States, it's going to be exclusive at Target
Mm-hmm.
for a 2 year period. It's already been sold in limited quantities on Target.com, and then it should be available at the time of the release of this interview because we're starting in October for the release of the project. So it's going to be on Target shelves exclusively. But outside of the United States, originally it wasn't going to be available. But we managed to work out a deal where we're going to have it at Essen, and then
That's
from
great.
there, we're going to be able to put it into the retailer distribution pipeline
Mm-hmm.
for distribution across the world. So if you're in the US, if you're in the States, you have to go to Target. If you're
Mm-hmm.
outside of the US and you want to pick up this game, you got to ask your company, like your local game store, hey, do
Mm-hmm.
you have Horizons? And then it'll enter distribution, and your game store will be able to reach out and go like, hey, can we get this in? And then have it available on their shelves.
Yep. As an European, it's fantastic that you found a way to distribute it over here. I think every
It was
Spirit
definitely
Island fan was
something,
looking for that.
yeah, it was definitely something we were worried about initially. And then we were like, this might just be part of what has to happen to make sure that this game exists. But after people chatted with us a little bit here and there, we're like, okay, we got to go back to the drawing board. We got to figure this out for our fans. So I'm really glad that we were able to do that, honestly, because the more people that any Spirit Island stuff is available to, the more like people get to play and enjoy it.
Yeah, that's fantastic. You mentioned Essen and having the game there. Do you anticipate it selling out, or do you have enough that it will be enough for everyone?
So I am fairly sure we have enough, but I can't predict the level of fans that are going to be at Essen. So like if you're watching this and this comes out before Essen, I have no idea if we're going to sell it out or not. I have a number of games that we're bringing, but I don't know how many people are going to show up banging on the door going like, all right, where is Horizons?
One.
Give me Horizons. One person is Pedro. First in line.
I'm first.
Yep. There it is.
Right. All right. Good. All right. So not that limited in terms of components or in terms of copies. Sorry. That's great.
Yeah. It could be lower than I'm thinking, depending on how international shipping pans out for us, because it's always kind of hairy, especially these days. So if it's a low stock, then it's going to be first come, first serve either way. Just make sure you show up early and get your hands on a copy. But if you don't happen to at Essen, it'll be available soon.
Fantastic. Another thing you announced when you announced Horizons was the foil spirit boards. Are those also going to be available internationally and in Essen, or what's the situation?
Yes. Essentially, we already have planned for the foil spirit panels to be distributed internationally in retail. And then Horizons is essentially added onto that as another product of Spirit Island that we have available for international distribution. So we will have foil spirit panels at Essen Spiel. Stock will be limited. We had them at Gen Con. We almost sold out by the end of the convention. Not quite. But they're very cool. They are for all existing expansions. And they include just the spirits. They don't include the unique cards or anything like that. But it's essentially, it's an option that you can take your punch board spirit and use a foil card stock spirit instead. Or vice versa.
All right. Makes storage easier because the spirit boards start to take up a lot of space in that box.
They do, yeah. They do get kind of hefty. And I know opinions are kind of mixed on whether or not it's like really a necessary component, but essentially it's a quality of life, like luxury upgrade. I don't know if I said that word right. Anyway, it's essentially just an option. So we have the thinner foil, like we have the thinner cardstock style ones in Horizons. And those aren't foiled. But they are those thinner styles. We're not changing how spirits are made. We're going to give options for how to bring it, like what spirit panels you get to use. So we have plans to make Horizons, the spirits for Horizons, match spirits from other sets. That's on the horizon, depending on what we can get done in production. But essentially, when we sell expansions for Spirit Island in the future, we're going to, in the core game, have the punch board style that you're familiar with, that are how we started the spirit panels. And we'll also offer foil foil cards for those spirit panels as well as an optional thing along with the game. So if you're like somebody who travels a lot and wants to play as much Spirit Island as possible, and you pick up Horizons for like the minimal, like lightweight tokens, and you buy the components that you need for Spirit Island with the core game, and then you get these foil thin spirit panels, it could be really helpful for you.
Fantastic. What's your plan going forward? So more expansions for Spirit Island are probably coming.
Well, we haven't talked about the biggest one yet. Nature Incarnate is on the horizon, and it is going to be launching on the 18th, just after Essen Spiel. We have a limited amount of spoilers that we're going to be revealing, and it's going to be throughout the campaign. So as you follow the updates on BackKit, you're going to see information on the spirits, some written by our Eric Reese and some written by internal team members. The big thing that our Eric wants me to communicate about Nature Incarnate is that it's not just a one-man show anymore. He's the main designer. He's the lead and everything, but he's working with a really like cool and awesome team of designers who are involved in this project. And they're like hands-on with these spirits, helping him playtest, helping him work through all these different options that he's going to be having. And he wants to talk them up as much as possible because he's found some good people to work with and some really cool folks online who can contribute in playtesting and all this different stuff. It's a really like vibrant team. The chances I've gotten to talk to them have been really special. So yeah, that's kind of what's going on there.
Great.
And I can go into a little bit more about Nature Incarnate if you want to ask. Yeah. So essentially, this is a expansion to Spirit Island that is between the size of Branching Claw and Jagged Earth. So it's sold in about the same size box as Jagged Earth, which I think I have over there. Yeah,
it's over there.
So it's like it's just a little less tall, I believe. And then it has 8 spirits in it. And we revealed the other day, 20 Arcana. So I can't go into detail on all that stuff because it's part of the release strategy for what we're going to be spoiling throughout the campaign, teasing everything. But I will say, if you're playing Spirit Island and you have played Spirit Island for a while, we have something for you. We have options for you. And they're going to be some pretty special options.
You cannot just drop that. You should be able to drop something more.
Oh gosh, what do I have? I don't know. You know, Thunder Speaker?
Yeah.
You'll be seeing a little bit more of them, I think.
Okay, that's great. So, and this Arcana, can you talk about it, or did you make a post?
So essentially that's going to be part of the reveals. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. So I said the wrong word. Let's go back over that real quick. What I meant to say was aspects. So aspects for spirits with the you know how they change how spirits play. So they are going to sorry, there's a bug. Okay. So we are going to include 20 aspects for the game.
That's great.
And that's going to be from a range of stuff that you'll find out more details on as we get into the campaign and you learn more stuff about it. But if you're a fan favorite of some spirits, you might be able to see some more options coming your way.
That's fantastic. Really great. So you said 6 or did you say 8 new spirits?
So I said 8 and I meant 8. And it's interesting because they're split up essentially into two categories. Spirits that you might be a little bit more familiar with, and then 4 spirits that have a whole new thing coming on, which is the mechanic called Incarnate, which is why I was switching those 2 words in my head. So for the new spirits, use Incarnate, which is going to be talked a lot more in detail during the campaign. So I'm not going to lay too many cards on the table yet, but essentially it's a big new mechanic that is going to bring the spirits face to face and head to head with the invaders on the island. Not something that we've done before.
That's great. So is it fair to assume that some of the aspect cards will put this new mechanic into the old spirits?
You're too clever for your own good, Pedro.
All right, I'll take that as a maybe. Who knows? All right, fantastic. So the campaign is going up on the 16th, you said?
18th of October.
18th, sorry.
And it's going to be on Backer Kit. Yeah. So we started campaigns at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, which is, I believe, let me convert it in my head real quick, around 5 p.m. GMT. So based on where your time zone falls in that range, keep an eye out for it. But yeah, on the 18th, you'll see the initial reveal of the campaign page. And some words from different people on the team. And from there, we will release an update schedule of content, and we'll start talking about the new spirits and the updates as they come on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So you've got a lot of information that you're going to get to sift through about these spirits coming up very soon.
That's great. How long will the campaign run?
Campaign will run, and you got me on this one. Let me just take a look at my calendar. Through the Thursday, the 17th of November. So it's a 4 or 5 week campaign, I believe. I think it's just around 30 days.
Okay, fantastic. In terms of stretch goals or bonuses, because for example, for the Sentinels of the Multiverse, the new edition, you didn't do stretch goals, but you did like a a small bonus in the terms of
Yeah.
foil hero cards.
So that's actually the direction that we're going to be taking with Nature Incarnate as well. The foils for Nature Incarnate are going to be included as a bonus for people who purchase the expansion. And then we'll have other options in the pledge tiers. You can look out for returning content and new accessories that we haven't revealed yet. But we put together some new stuff for this campaign. And the basic bonus is going to be those foils. So you have options on storage, and you have like big flashy copies of your spirit cards if you want to display them for the new Nature Incarnate spirits.
All right, fantastic. All right.
And the fun thing is we do have card sleeves for the spirit panel spirit panels, because we've got these foil ones and we want them protected. It's a custom card size. We had to make new sleeves for these because the spirit panel size is not something that's based on existing components in board games when they designed them. So we have an all new card size. So if any other companies watching this want to start making stuff based on the Spirit Island cards, we now have sleeves for them.
The sleeves exist already.
The sleeves exist. You can certainly justify that design choice that way.
Nice. All right, I'm very curious about the accessories. I noticed that in my copy, the actual island board started to wear out. So if there's something along those lines, it would be great. Just an idea.
That's a seal.
Okay.
It's coming out very fast, so you'll get a little bit more information as we go. But it's not just the expansion. There's some other stuff involved too.
Fantastic. All right, so we covered one Spirit Island expansion.
Yeah.
How many more can we wait for?
That's a great question that I'm not going to give you an answer to. We have plans. We have plans reaching out into the future. I'm not going to commit to anything up front, but suffice it to say that with our new ability to make sure that Spirit Island is in stock, and in stock reliably, and in stock throughout the world, both in retailer spaces and getting into your hands if you order directly from us, and all these different options, Spirit Island isn't going away. And it's not going to be as hard to get your hands on anymore, which is something that's really exciting. I only started at this company in April, and it was after kind of all that time had passed where it was hard to get your hands on a copy of Spirit Island. But as I'm working here, we've got tons of it in the back. We are able to place orders for it that are going to be consistent over time. We're going to be able to get out ahead of holidays and stuff and make sure that people can have this game. So it's kind of exiting, I think, the period of exclusivity that it was one of those really hard things to get your hands on. And a lot more people are going to have the chance to play it, which I'm excited about because, you can call me out for this, Pedro, but I am a huge cooperative board games fan. I played through Pandemic Legacy when it first released. That was my favorite game of all time when it first released. And then, more legacies happened. And I was like, oh, it's all different stuff. But I love games that involve cooperative play. But before I started here, I hadn't sat down with Spirit Island because it was so hard to get a copy, and none of my friends had it that I played with. So on my second day here, I got sat down with the design team. Matt Kroll, one of our lead designers, sat me down. He's like, I'm going to show you the demo version of Spirit Island, and I'm going to show you how to play it. So we played through it, and we got to about round 3, and I was sitting there, and I was going, oh no, this is my favorite game. This is the best co-op game I've ever played. And I sound like a sellout for starting here and then immediately loving the best game that they have. But it's true. I am so picky with cooperative games. How they work, how they play, how they're designed, how people interact with them, how introducing them to people works, how the complexity affects different fans and what people get from them. And everything about that comes together in Spirit Island in a deeply genuine way that it makes me really excited to talk about it. It feels like something that is really worth getting more people excited about because it is such a interesting and tightly designed cool game.
It's a fantastic one. It also only took me one play to know, okay, I love this game. Let's just get Branch and Claw I needed it.
I
It's so good.
I so rarely have that experience with the board game. Like I usually have
Yeah.
to go through it once and then I'm like, all right, well, all right, I'm gonna save judgment until my second playthrough, right? You know, because you
It's
get through
fair.
the scoring process and everything. But no, it's just like, yep, nope, just knock out these buildings. Oh, you did so good that you don't have to knock out the explorers anymore. Let's go. I was like,
Yeah.
this is it. I could happily play this at every cooperative board game night that I ever go to again, and I would be content. Like
Yeah.
I have never played a board game solo before. I
Hmm.
did with Spirit Islands to take on
Nice.
England level one. I was like, I'm sure they've got nothing on me. I was incorrect. I won by one card. One
Okay, but
card.
you won. That's
They
good.
almost
That's
won. They
good.
almost built the capital, and I'm like,
Yeah.
whoo, okay,
Yeah.
right. Let's try that again some other time.
Sure. Yes, yes. At my house, I had something similar where my girlfriend had to remind me, we have other games. We don't need to spend every night playing Spirit Islands.
Yeah.
I think
You're
she's
like,
wrong,
but
but
you're like, but we could
but we could
consider
and we should
we
maybe.
could, and maybe we should.
It's
Yeah.
a great game. Yeah. That's great. So before you said there's a bigger team now with Eric
Yeah.
developing the game. When can we expect Spirit Island monthly, a subscription service where you get new content every month?
So if you sign up for the Patreon, no, we don't have plans for that. We're certainly not going to be releasing blister pack content or
Yeah.
stuff like that again. We did that with the original Sentinels, and
Mm-hmm.
we're moving away from that model entirely with Sentinels Definitive Edition, like
Mm-hmm.
where you would get like one hero or one extra pack of
Yeah.
cards in a blister. It was so
Mm-hmm.
tough for brick and mortar like retail stores to manage and for us to handle the inventory on our end that we're essentially packing everything in like
Mm-hmm.
the larger expansion boxes now.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the plan with Sentinels moving forward. We're not going to do like the small independent releases, and that's kind of how Spirit Island is going to go. The foil panels are kind of an exception to that, but much like the premium token pack, they're a
Mm-hmm.
optional accessory that kind of upgrade your gameplay. So
Mm-hmm.
it's like another thing that a brick and mortar can choose to stock if they're appealing to Spirit Island fans, or something that folks can pick up online if they're really devoted to the game.
Mm-hmm. That's great. So before we spin to Sentinels, because I also want to talk about Sentinels,
Yeah.
another excellent co-op game. So in Sentinels, you are planning on having a yearly new release. Do you say the same thing about Spirit Island, where we can kind of expect some new content every year, or is there a different roadmap?
So it's going to depend. Like it's certainly that's off. It's certainly going to be something that depends on the Nature Incarnate launch because this is the first time we're doing it through BackerKit.
Okay.
It's the first time we've run a Nature Incarnate campaign, a crowdfunding campaign since 2020 and the pandemic and everything that happened. So we want to make sure everything is good to go. And we've got our fulfillment process, we've got our production process down. We were making Compounded, which just kickstarted recently,
Mm-hmm.
which is the Kickstarter we did this year. Brook City is obviously in the cards and in production. So those things are happening, but we want to make sure that we've got Nature Incarnate and the rest of the Spirit Island stuff they're releasing this fall good to go, and that people like
Mm-hmm.
them, and that we're ready to take on the next challenge. But I can't 100% say this is the dates that you're going to see Spirit Island for the next X years because we want to make sure they're good products. And if they get hung up in the development process, I don't want to disappoint people by going like, yeah, you're looking forward to a September release of the next expansion. And then it
Mm-hmm.
rolls around to September, and I have to go online and go like, "Hey guys, so sorry, we're going to take till January or something like that." When we put the stuff out, we're going to make sure that it's ready to go and that it's
Okay.
like done like on some level crowdfunding campaigns. There's going to be some level of undoneness. They are at the process with
Sure.
where you fund it, and there's more playtesting to do and everything. Which we're certainly in process of, but I want that to be, all want that to be a consistent base that we're ready to build on, have all the information for, support as a full expansion. So yeah, but it's going to be regular. Like we're going to have
Great.
content moving forward. I just can't
Mm-hmm.
commit to the repeating date, like on that calendar.
Sure.
Set your
But
clocks.
frequent is already a good time schedule.
Yeah, and it's just because I know how much content the team is interested in doing, and what that's going to look like is going to change over time.
That's fantastic. So staying on Spirit Talent a little bit more. because now we were talking about content. Do we see a Spirit Island dice game, a Spirit Island Nolan Ride, something like that?
We don't currently have any plans for stuff like that. If it comes up, it's possibly something we'll consider because Spirit Island is a cool property. But as it is, we're mostly focusing on the core game.
Okay, makes sense. Keep it amazing.
Right, yeah. Like, how would you do a roll and write? You're going to adapt every single spirit? Like, I'm not a game designer, so I can say very little. But it's like, we want to make sure that the core gameplay experience of Spirit Island is refined, and we're not taking talent away from the teams that are making these games as good as they are. Yeah. So that's kind of where we're at in that process.
Great. All right, so let's pivot to Sentinels of the Multiverse, the game that converted me to solo board game. It's a great one. So we have the first box already out. It's excellent. We have Rook City Renegades now in production, you said. Do you have an estimate when it will be reaching backers and retail?
Not as it stands. Like, we are on track with it. And we will have more information on it. If you're signed up for through the Kickstarter campaign, you'll be getting updates from Bailey, our customer experience manager. And that's going to be production news as it happens. But unless something like dire happens and shipping gets delayed and that kind of thing, it should be the same time frame as we talked about in the campaign. Barring any updates that I don't know about, and I know about all the other updates. But yeah, like we got a production box copy of the cover art and everything. It's sitting on Christopher's desk. This game exists. It's coming. It's going to get into people's hands.
And it's going to be great, I hope.
Yeah.
So, and next expansion, do we have a date? Do we have any teasers, any new mechanics? Like Rook City Renegades is introducing something new, which is already great. Can we expect the same from the next expansion?
Yes, and we do have a teaser.
Yes.
It's a short little video clip, but I'm not going to show it to you yet. We're going to decide when we're going to launch it. So keep an eye out on our social media. Look for that. It's going to be pretty cool. Our AV team is really some talented designers. So it's not going to share a lot, but it is going to give you a little bit of a hint.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Do we have a name for the next expansion?
I'm not revealing it yet.
Too many secrets.
Yeah,
too many secrets.
Sentinels is definitely one of those things where it's Christopher's baby. It's Christopher's project. And he pretty much leads everything when it comes to writing and developing that game. So he's got a very clear picture of how we're going to do the marketing and strategy work for Sentinels moving forward. And part of that involves the physical release of the next expansion so that we get the right level of hype for the stuff that's going to come in the future. So I'm not going to talk too much about it because we don't want to play our cards too early. And we've got a lot to focus on with Spirit Island. But we've got plans. Don't worry about that. We've always got plans upon plans at Greater Than Games.
That's great. Have you considered Greater Than Games Calyx for just Sentinels and Spirit Island? Because with the number of boxes coming in and expansions.
Okay, so you want us to partner with IKEA? Do you know a guy? Because I would love to know a guy at IKEA. Like,
not yet.
Not yet? Okay, so workshop this with me here. Do we put it in orange or our blue? Because like we've got the color blue in the wall back there. I don't know that a Calyx has a lot of really like brandable spaces. Maybe we can paint it up like a sports car and just put logos from every single game on it.
Could work. I mean, we just need to try it.
Yeah, it's just something we gotta knock out. Hey, if IKEA wants to reach out and offer a custom bedazzled Calyx option for our fans, that would be awesome. But we don't really have plans for big boxes. We've tried storage options in the past with like the original Sentinels of the Multiverse, and the production costs are kind of prohibitive, and it's not an accessory that is popular enough to justify really stocking through ourselves. But it is something that other people are interested in making, and we want to get people out to the people who want to make cool stuff for Spirit Island. We want to work with accessory producers and all that different stuff to make sure that like your gameplay and your storage and all that stuff is in good shape and good to go.
Great.
It's funny sitting in conversations and listening to Eric and others talk about how all the components have to be designed so that they're going to fit in a box in the future.
Sure.
So that kind of tells you how far out we're thinking.
Wow, great. Well, more Spirit Talent is always great. Sorry, more Sentinels is always great. Both are true. Spirit Talent and Sentinels. I just want more.
We love those S titles. Yeah.
It's your fault. Like I did nothing about this. I just played them. You're the one making great games, sir.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
So in terms of digital, we have digital versions of Spirit Talent and of Sentinels, at least the older edition. Can we expect to see Nature Incarnate and Horizons making it as mobile apps, or also Sentinels Definitive Edition?
That is definitely on the back burner compared to the projects that we're currently working on and making sure that we're supporting the launch of these. So it's going to be something that's considered after the expansions are live. Right now, I don't think we have any direct plans or timelines to make that happen, but I know it's not something we're going to neglect because those are apps that are popular and we want to make sure that the content is still in line, but it's gonna be a little while on those.
Okay, fair enough. All right, so before we move away from the great games that start with S, any teasers, any spoilers you can share? Or any question I should have asked?
Oh, any questions you should have asked, just to catch me off guard. So I asked the question, right? We already have the name of one of the spirits released. It's been in the promotional backer kit landing page for Spirit Island Nature Incarnate. It's called Ember-Eyed Behemoth. You're going to see a spirit that has a relationship with Ember-Eyed Behemoth in Horizons. So like the Horizons spirits, I know people were like, "Oh, this art is so cutesy." They are part of the lore of the setting of the universe, and they're not like external to it. It's just like different ways that art expresses itself and like the spirits look, and they're definitely grounded in a part of like the ongoing things happening in like the big gears turning with the spirits on Spirit Island. But Ember-Eyed Behemoth is like a kaiju, like a creature that has a presence, and it's going to make things very difficult for the invaders. So that's kind of what I can give you. You can probably add some dots together from there, and we'll have more information on all this stuff, all the details that I talked about as we tease spirits and reveal more details about them in the Nature Incarnate campaign starting on the 18th.
Okay, great. Thanks a lot for that. So now stepping back from Sentinels and Spirit Island, any other greater than games release that we should watch out for and possibly even try in Essen?
So we've got, I mean, obviously, if you haven't played Definitive Edition yet, you should get your hands on a copy. Like, it was released in 2020, and so like there's less people than we would like playing it just because of the issues with making sure that people can play together in person. But like we've updated and overhauled the art and made the game better in so many ways. And I can say that like when we did the Definitive Edition Kickstarter, we had a promise on there, like a pledger's promise, that if anyone didn't like it and just wanted to stick with the original copy of Sentinels, because we were asking people to like revisit a game that a lot of people already loved, rebuy content that they already had the first version of and all that stuff. We, Christopher and the rest of the team made a commitment that if you got this game, if you played it and you were like, this is not a necessary upgrade, you can just send it back to us and you'll get your money back. One person took advantage of that. So really? That deal is no longer in the cards. Like we're not refunding individual copies of Definitive Edition. But out of the people who backed the campaign, one person.
Only one?
Only one person out of the thousands who were interested in and have played the game since then. So I think that's a pretty good, like, that's a pretty good, honest, like, deal. That it's a worthy
best review you can have.
Yeah,
one person didn't like
one person had a customer service issue, right? Yeah. And we refunded them and it was taken care of. And other than that, like Definitive, we've got plans for content for it. We have other games that we're going to be showing off due to our relationship with Flat Ripper Group. So that includes, since we are essentially partners with Synapses Games now, which is a Canadian like localization team for and producer of different games. We're going to have more games that we can show to you in formats like the conventions and everything. And that includes stuff like Coatl, the card game beta, and some upcoming releases. One of which is the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood of Venice game that was released on Kickstarter or had a full Kickstarter release. We are doing a full retail release of that game in the United States. And the components are a little lighter weight and the box cost is a little less expensive so that more people can experience it. But that's one of the things that we're going to have on display at Essen if you want to check it out. So it's essentially one of those games we're partnering up on and adding more stuff to our catalog.
And can you try those games at Essen, or are they
pre-deliveries? Yeah, we're going to have kind of we've got a team of really cool, really devoted citizens who work with us at the conventions, and they're coming to Essen to make sure that we can show these games off to people. And some of our team, like I will be demoing Assassin's Creed as well, and we'll all be there together on the show floor. I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be my first Essen, and I'm really excited about it.
It's excellent. I'll stop by on the first day.
Please do. I would like to say hello to you in person.
For sure, I'll definitely will. What's your booth? Do you know the number?
Yes, booth number, which I just wrote down. We are at booth 1D147 in Hall 1. So if you're in Hall 1, we're at the right side, all the way to the right in the corner. And you'll see our games there. You'll see our logo. You'll see the Flat River Group name if you're looking for us. And then we've got other banners and wall art and stuff that you can look out for. But yeah, the design team will be there. A lot of new faces that have come on to Greater Than Games will be there as well, myself included. So if you're a reviewer, somebody who wants to stop by and say hi or talk to us about stuff that like opportunities that you have or events that you're helping run and need support on, all that kind of stuff, come say hi to me. I'll be in the booth. And otherwise, you can reach out to contact@greaterthangames.com and we'll get your questions answered.
Perfect. All right. I think that was all my questions for now.
Okay,
until we meet again. Do you have anything to say?
I just really appreciate you reaching out and making sure we could get this interview organized. I want to get you in touch with some more people like Eric and other folks that have a little bit more insight on the design processes so we can get a little bit more interview action going on that stuff. It's cool to listen to them chat about things. But for now, I'm just excited about all the stuff that we have coming up, all the future games that we're planning. We're planning something with the Homestar Runner brothers. We demoed it at Gen Con. It's called Crime Scene Tamperer. It's a very fun little party game. It's very fast and action. And we should have, I'm not sure if we have it for demo at Essen Spiel, so I shouldn't say that we definitely have it. Not sure yet. We might have a copy. But yeah, that's going to be something that happens in the next year. You'll see crowdfunding campaigns from us about that and about other projects. And we're going to try out BackerKit and we're going to see what's best for our company and we're going to see what's going to be successful for our fans. And we're really excited to get all this stuff spun up and start working on it and to start people play it because that's like the best part of the experience for us, honestly.
Yeah, great. Fantastic. Thanks a lot for your time. Thanks a lot for asking my questions, even when they were a bit too pushy regarding
on the nose.
Secret. But you need to ask. If you don't ask, you don't learn new things.
If you don't ask, you don't get spoilers ahead of everyone else's schedule. So you can like you can stew over them in the editing process. Like, woo, I know something no one else does.
Yes.
But yeah, until next time, I'm Geddy Carey Avery. And you can reach me at marketing@greaterthangames.com if you need anything. And like I said, if you got questions for the rest of the team or need to reach out to us about anything, shoot us an email at contact and we'll help you out. And we'll be seeing you at different conventions like Essen Spiel, Gen Con next year, other events in between. We've got some really big plans and we're really excited about them.
Perfect. Thanks a lot. And Pedro,
have a great one.
Have a nice day. Bye.